Here's the thing with Christine and that house. Robyn and I gave her her down payment for that house. Christine couldn't qualify for financing. So I bought that house with her, and it was my money that went into that house to buy the house. Robyn and I gave her her down payment for that house. Yeah, she's been making a mortgage payment, and we all have been having to do that, but we had to come up with that money for the down payment. That money should come back and go into Coyote Pass.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Wednesday, May 15th, 2024. Do you know what they say about cult leaders? A lot of times with cult leaders, they have deputies or they have little flying monkeys or people that are their followers that do their grunt work, that lay down and do the dirty work. They are out on the front lines committing the atrocities, committing the crimes. And then the cult leader is basically puppeteering all of these people to do these things, right? So he's saying, he or she's saying, like, you need to go do this for me. You need to sign this document for me. They forge documents. They have them commit wire fraud or bank fraud or whatever. And it's all part of this scheme because the cult leader doesn't want to get their hands dirty. And then they also are able to bring in people into their crimes, which makes those people loyal to them and less willing to tell on them in the event that they ever get caught, right? So if a cult leader is, say, doing something like defrauding people in the cult, and he wants them to pay money to them, but he doesn't want to make it look like he does it. Maybe he has one of his leaders or underlings actually do that for him and get the money for him, but the money eventually goes to him, but they're not the one, the cult leader is not the one getting the money, right? But their underling is the one that's getting the money for them, and they're sort of the go-between. So he's telling them to do it, they do it, and then they're technically both committing the crime, but the person that's committing the crime along with the cult leader then has committed a crime. And so it's harder for them to walk away and turn the cult leader in because they both have unclean hands. Kody Brown has always said that Robyn Brown is loyal to him. And it always reminds me of like the Don, like a Don from the Mafia, you know, where they're like Janelle said, kiss the ring, where it's like a mafioso dude will demand loyalty from the people around him, and those that are loyal to him, they don't rat on him, they don't spill the secrets, they do the work for him, they don't complain. You know what I mean? So whenever he would say that she's loyal to me, like fundamentally loyal to me, I always wondered if this meant that she was fundamentally loyal in the sense that she was willing to do whatever he told her to do without question and enable him in his schemes so that he could get whatever he wanted, rather than just being loyal to his wishes of letting him be in control at the home. Is she also loyal to him with money, with criminal acts, with actions that are fraudulent? Will she stay loyal to him in lieu of everyone else in the family and in lieu of the law? That's always how I took the loyalty thing. And now I think I have a little bit of proof that this could be a reason why Robyn Brown is loyal, because Mary Brown never did this, and Mary Brown never gave up rights to properties, never handed over titles, never did any of that. Kody could not control Mary financially. Mary was a little bit more astute and I think a little bit more intelligent about how to handle the finances. And I think she was also more willing to hold Kody accountable and unwilling to file false documents in order to help him in whatever way. Robyn, on the other hand, is not. As Kody has acquired more wealth and more money, he needed a person that was loyal, that was going to help him scheme other people and commit crimes in order to achieve whatever desired result he wanted. And that happened when he purchased property in Arizona. I found evidence and supporting statements by Kody publicly to prove that he's either lying on the show or he had Robyn file a false document in the state of Arizona and Coconino County as it relates to property that he owned with Christine. Because when Christine left the family, he kept saying that Robyn and him provided money to her for her down payment for her house. And that because he provided the down payment, they provided the down payment, the house was his, the house belonged to the family. I showed you a clip in the very beginning of this video where it says, he kind of first says Robyn and I gave her the money, and then he changed it to I gave her the money, because I think he knew at that point that if he reset it and said Robyn and I, he would be incriminating himself, because she filed a document, a recorded document in Coconino County stating the exact opposite of what he said. And I found the document while I was doing research about the property documents filed by the Brown family. There's always this thing about polygamy where they might claim that they're not committing crimes, but a lot of the crimes that are happening literally are happening right before your eyes. They're happening on property records. They're happening in welfare. They're happening with bankruptcies. They're happening with just basically everything that they do is so ingrained for them to break the law, because their entire culture is based on criminality, and they don't care about the law. They don't care about forging documents. They don't care or abide by what you and I believe in, because they believe that like this world is, not built for them. So they feel justified in doing whatever they want. As I was looking at recorded documents, I was looking at Coyote Pass, and I noticed that Robyn there was like 3 separate instances that Robyn was signing over property rights and claim on property, despite the fact that she was married to Kody. I can specifically state that this document related to Christine is either fraudulent and that she filed a false document, meaning she committed a crime, or Kody lied in the show. It's either one of the two, and either way, it's a deception either way. But I'm inclined to believe that the document that she filed is false. I'm inclined to believe that she knew it was false. I'm inclined to believe that Kody had her do this because he needed to qualify on this loan without Robyn. And it's Christine's house, so why would Christine have a home with Robyn and Kody? And Kody claimed that he needed to qualify with Christine to buy the house. And mind you, he had never done this before. And because he did that, Robyn then filed a document which said the following. It's called a disclaimer deed, and it says that Kody is Robyn Alice Brown, wife of Kody Wynn Brown, called the undersigned and calling Kody the spouse. It says the spouse has acquired title to the following described property situated in Coconino County. The property above described is sole and separate property of the spouse, having been purchased with separate funds of the spouse. The undersigned has no present right, interest, claim, or lien of any kind or nature whatsoever in, to, or against said property. This instrument shall also constitute a waiver by the undersigned in favor of any mortgage, deed of trust beneficiary, or deed of trust estate. This instrument is executed not for the purpose of making a gift to the spouse, but solely for the purpose of clearly showing of record that the undersigned has and claims no interest in the said property, and the undersigned expects third persons to rely on this disclaimer. It is the express intent of the grantor, being the spouse of the grantee, to convey all right, title, and interest of the grantor, community, or otherwise, in and to him herein described property to the grantee as his sole and separate property. I used to work in mortgage and real estate, so I kind of understand here what's going on. What she's doing is a couple things. What she's trying to accomplish is a couple things. First of all, in order for her not to be included in any mortgages or not to be included in any of the finances and looking at her financials in order for Christine to qualify, she needs to put something on record that it has nothing to do with her, and so that her money wouldn't be reviewed by the bank or needed to be reviewed by the bank in order for Christine to qualify. So what she's saying is that, listen, my money was not used and none of my money was involved in this, so I have nothing to do with mortgages, I have nothing to do with the title, I have nothing to do with any of this. He used money outside of me. This is not my property, it is his. So she's absolving herself of having to be involved in any mortgages or qualifying documents needed to verify where this money came from a mortgage perspective. On another part of this, what she's doing is making it so that she's not on the title, and so that she doesn't have any liens that are in her name that have nothing to do with property that she lives in, even though her money was used in order to buy the property. It's a material false statement. They basically lied to the bank more than likely, about where the money came from for Kody and Christine for the down payment. Because Kody is the one that drives the bus when it comes to the finances, I don't put blame on Christine for this, because Christine is an incredibly naive woman, and she for sure was probably just following the lead of Kody on this. But Robyn intentionally signing documents that are fraudulent is actually a crime. And something that makes me realize as to why this is an important piece of information is because she did this so that Kody could be on a loan with Christine. But then when she needed to buy a home of her own, it was really hard for her to qualify, because Kody was already on a loan with Christine, and because they couldn't verify where she got her money for her down payment. So when she got her money for her down payment, they didn't have the money to use to buy their own home. They had to rely on money from Mary and from Janelle. They never had to ask Christine for anything, but they needed financials from Janelle and Mary in order for them to qualify. But Kody was so overextended because he had likely reached a threshold where the percentage of his income that was going to pay debt was higher than what the mortgage company would allow. So a lot of times with mortgages, and when I did it, it was a long, long time ago, but you didn't want to have like a debt to income ratio of more than like 30 or 40%, meaning that no more than 30 or 40% of your debt of your income is going to pay off debt. And when you go over that, it's harder for you to qualify, because the bank recognizes that you don't have the same amount of disposable income to pay down that debt. And so what happens is you end up getting approved for really high risk loans if you have a higher debt to income ratio. You don't have a lower LTV, meaning you don't have a large percentage down that you're putting down. And then if you can't verify where the money is coming from and it takes longer to verify, that again places you more in a high risk loan. It's evident that they ended up in a high risk loan because within 2 years of them signing the loan, they refinanced. You don't generally refinance a loan 2 years after you sign a loan unless you've been put into a loan that has terms that are unfavorable. They could have ended up in a loan where it was only like a 3-year arm. Maybe it was a 1-year arm, meaning that the rate would only be fixed for 1 or 3 years. It could have been that they had a higher interest rate that they had to have for a few years, because by 2021, they were refinancing that loan. They had paid none of it down, and then they put it into a 80-20, where they put a chunk of it on a first mortgage and a chunk of it on a second mortgage, because they wanted to avoid private mortgage insurance. Not uncommon, probably over your head if you're not in this industry, but I did it for years. They did some maneuvering in order to qualify, but because Kody was on the loan with Christine, it hurt Robyn. So what did Robyn do? She forced Kody to take himself off of Christine's loan, and he deeded the loan. He took himself off the loan. Christine refinanced the loan on her own outside of Kody, qualified by herself, and Kody deeded the title over to her and said he gave up all claim to the property, and that happened in 2020. Robyn's anger about Kody's involvement in Christine's loan impacting her ability to buy a house is ultimately what allowed Christine to get freedom. But along the way, Robyn and Kody committed a crime. Kody was lying to the mortgage company about where the money came from when it came to Christine's house. Robyn lied not only to the mortgage company, but filed a document that was recorded in the county, which is actually a class 1 misdemeanor. Under Arizona law, anyone that knowingly files a false document with a county recorder commits what's considered a class 1 misdemeanor. And the misdemeanor is, under law, the highest level of a misdemeanor that someone can be charged with. It can be a fine of up to $2,500 and up to 6 months in prison. What Kody was asking Robyn to do was, I need to qualify to help her qualify for this loan, Christine. In order for you to do that, I need you to commit this crime for me. These are the kinds of crimes that they're committing in order to do their lifestyle, in order to navigate their finances, in order for Kody to have access to everyone's money. He's having the women commit the crimes for him. Kody is on recorded video saying, Robyn and I gave her the money. Robyn filed a document in the court, in a recorded document, that says, I did not have anything to do with this money. Not only are there crimes that are associated with filing false documents with the recorder, but there's also forgery laws and crimes that can be committed here, where basically if you file a false document, whether it's with a bank, whether it's with a recorder, and it's done with the intent to defraud, meaning that you are doing something in order to get money for something or to get access to money, and you're not providing the right information, you can be charged with a class 4 felony. So if she's filing false documents, which are to help him get money for a loan for which he didn't really pay for because the money is also hers, she could be committing not only a misdemeanor, but a felony. Kody could be committing a felony as well if he's providing false information to the banks in order to qualify for these loans. This is why polygamy is illegal, because they are doing things like this all the time. And what Kody's doing is he's overextending himself. He is putting himself on so many loans. He owes so much money. He's probably got so much money due to so many different sources. He has all these like loans that are not even really loans because banks won't even lend to him because it's so fraudulent, that he has to get seller-based loans, or he has to go through creative measures to get money, like through pawn shops, because literally financially overextended, and he could have income sources that are less than legal. He could be selling items that are not being on the books. He could be taking money under the table, if you know what I mean. And when you're involved in those kind of transactions, you have to be able to show where the money's coming from. Kody is notorious for being unable to qualify for standard loans because of the lifestyle that he's involved in. And this snafu that they did in Arizona exposes the fact that, one, he is overextended. Two, he's willing to commit crimes in order to help and get property that he wants. And then what happens when he does that is he's highly likely to default, or someone is likely to default. Then the loan ends up getting back to the lender. He might have to declare bankruptcy again, who knows? And the creditor then ends up eating the difference, which then ultimately falls on those of us who borrow money for other things with higher interest rates, being harder to qualify. He's gaming the system in order to get what he wants, but his behavior impacts everyone. And if he doesn't pay these loans back, he rips off the banks, he rips off the creditors, he could be ripping off the government if he's not paying taxes. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much here. So what I'm saying here is that Robyn is willing to commit crimes for him. She's willing to commit felonies for him. She's willing to do whatever he needs for her to have what she wants. And then on the flip side, when she doesn't get what she wants, or it's harder for her to get to what she wants, he is loyal to her and he's willing to do whatever so that she gets what she wants. So he gives and tosses Christine off, and he's like, oh, I screwed up there, so let's just not talk about that anymore, and we'll just do this house together, and we'll qualify separately on our own without Christine. Something within their mortgage was probably so high risk and could have been flagged, who knows? They used the same mortgage company that he did with Christine. Something was going on with that qualification that was not sitting right with the lender, rightfully so. At the end of the day, he's admitted now that he and Robyn gave her the money. There's a document that proves that that's a lie, and that Robyn says she didn't give the money, which I believe that she gave the money. And at some point in time, this couple is going to have to go down for the crimes they're committing. At some point in time, the law has to stop ignoring all the blatant crimes he's committing and admitting to on television, admitting to crimes. All right, so what are your thoughts about this? Is this why Robyn's loyal? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. Click on the bell so you never miss a video. And thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.